Catching up to reflect with us is Dr Makhosi Khoza. Let's go back to last week. You remember the story. She resigned from the ANC after being continuously at loggerheads with leadership. She went on to form her own organization called the African Democratic Change. And some said the party is seemingly made up of disgruntled members of other parties, such as the Economic Freedom Fighters, as well as AgangSA. Well, let's get her onto the program and get some records straight here. Dr. Khoza is our guest. Good to see you. Welcome.
Good morning, Leanne.
It's been a while. I mean, I know that the last time we sat on this couch, it was a rather fiery conversation. Since then, you've left, you've formed your own party. The ANC has changed guard. I mean, how are you feeling at this time in your life?
To be honest with you, my life and I think the life of most of the ADEC members is really about South Africa. And we are excited about the changes that are taking place in the country. I think the country has been subjected to a lot of trauma for the past 9 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people talking about that and feeling that, and you really did feel it firsthand. I mean, you get life-threatening, instances on your life, on your children's lives. You embarked on a leadership battle against what you called the rot within the ANC. So I imagine things are a little bit more peaceful for you, or not really?
Well, to a very large extent, they are. I'm spending more time with my family, which is very nice.
But is it good enough? Because you are a fighter. I mean, you're born to fight.
I am a fighter. To be honest with you, I'm currently heading ADEC, as you know, African Democratic Change, which is largely a civil society movement, but registered as a political party.
Yeah.
And we really feel that the country takes long to implement decisions. I mean, you will recall that we had a Van Zyl-Slabbert report that was recommending that we need to have a constituency-based system in South Africa. So ADEC is really that home for citizens to be able to fight elections at national and provincial levels without having to pay more than 700,000 in fees to contest elections with the IEC.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about ADEC in a short while. I want to just talk about, however, your relationship with the ANC. Have you been approached since things have changed to join again?
I would tell you, I mean, a lot of people. I grew up in the ANC. A lot of people still like me in the ANC. And yeah, they've approached me, but I still feel that we need a vehicle that is going to allow citizens access to the state power.
Would you, I mean, if you were offered a great position in the ANC, whether it be a ministerial position, a deputy president position, I mean, I'm just throwing things at you, but a position where you can make a difference in the country, would you consider?
Well, Leanne, maybe the difference between you and I, and probably with other people out there, I'm really not for positions that much. I'm really about change, positive change in society. And if I'm given a space where I could do that, I can. And I do think that at ADEC, I do have that space. I'm heading a very, very feminist grounded movement. And I do think that we easily reverse the gains of women in South African politics. Think about Hazel Jenkins, she suffered multiple strokes. Think about Zanele Magwaza Msibi. Think about even the way Dinah Pule was punished. But Zuma was never punished. She was removed as the Minister of Communications. I'm not saying women shouldn't be punished, but I'm saying there is a greater need, especially because we have the president in the caliber of Cyril Ramaphosa, of a greater effective oversight function.
Yeah, but let's talk about ADEC now and how much impact you possibly can have in South Africa. I mean, we've seen smaller organizations that have come through, but unfortunately they haven't necessarily made that impact because they're not large enough, and they don't have that punch that perhaps an ANC does have, because we see the support base there. Do you feel that the same could happen to ADEC?
You know, to be honest with you, I don't think so. I really think that ADEC is there to disrupt the traditional political system. And ADEC is not so much focused on ideologies or whatever. It's really about citizens. It's about the youth. It's about women. And I do believe that if all the different civil society movements can come together, they can actually begin to reclaim the power, the state power, because democracy is really under threat. There is a lot of voter apathy. In as much as we can say the ANC has that impact, yes, it is a very strong brand. Who can compete with a 105-year-old brand? But at the same time, we must understand that we are living in the age of disruptions. You know, just yesterday, we never thought that Uber was going to be real. Yeah. Today it is. Yeah. You know, Taxify, you name it. We are living in the age of disruptions, and I do believe that we need to disrupt the traditional political systems so that they are aligned with the fourth industrial revolution that we're in.
So just to clarify for me, is ADEC a political party? I mean, you say that it's more of a civil society group, but are we going to see your face on the ballot paper at come 29?
Yep,
2019?
Maybe. ADEC is a civil society movement, but it is a registered as a political party with the IEC for the purposes of allowing any citizen in the country who is a patriot, who is passionate about the country as much as we are, those people will have a platform from which to do that. At the moment, it's very difficult to get through the ANC space or through DA or whatever. So independent people who would like to contest elections, they can contest under ADEC.
Indeed. Now, I mean, the reality is funding and money. I mean, I was reading an article where you were saying prior to the big changes that have taken place within the ANC, there were funders coming through to hand you checks of around about 85 million rand. Now, those have almost fizzled out to nothing. And that is a worry for all opposition parties. Many opposition parties beginning to fear the strength of the ANC that may very well be on the rise again, and that, you know, other parties are again going to disappear. Again, I ask you this question. Do you not think you could make more of an impact moving back into a party where your voice is needed, where you are there watching that things go right, as you did during the Zuma era?
Leanne, that's a very difficult question. I mean, if you look at where the ANC is and you look at the pace of change within the party, it's taking very long. You can go through the 2007 resolutions and ask me how many of those resolutions were implemented. It's very, very difficult. And again, the ANC has an aging leadership. And I don't think the leadership within the ANC is ready for younger intellectuals. I think that they would rather be recycling themselves. We've seen Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma coming back instead of coaching people like myself. And again, we are likely to be seeing more and more older people. And we have a very, very young generation. If I can make a change in that space, let me try and do so. Whether I'm going to succeed or not, it doesn't matter. Some people have to do something and others have to pick up. I have a lot of young women who are graduates from different universities that have developed a concept, a fabulous concept entitled Politics Unusual. And you are going to see how it's going to go. And we are going for crowdfunding because we don't want a democracy to be reduced to a consensus of the rich and wealthy. The world is seeing a lot of billionaires becoming presidents, and at the same time, you are seeing a lot of ordinary citizens being robbed of their voice, and because it's very expensive to fight an election.
Well, we appreciate you coming and explaining to us, and I wish you the best of luck. Politics Unusual, that's what you stand for, and who knows, come 2019, who knows where you're going to be, and I respect you for your decision. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much, Leanne.
All right. Dr Makhosi Khoza catching up with us following her resignation from the ANC, forming her own civil society organisation. As you heard, she's not going back. She's going to continue and give her path a try. And let's see if it succeeds.